من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد. We are about a week away from welcoming a great guest of ours that visits us once a year, this great month of Ramadan. Glory be to Allah, the one who has favored certain days over others, and has favored certain people over others, and has favored certain months over others. The best of these months is this month of Ramadan, and the acts that we do within this month are not like those done in months outside of Ramadan. The charity given in this month, the Quran that is recited in this month, the du'as that we make in this month, in general, they are better than our acts of worship outside of the month of Ramadan. And we see this from the life of the Prophet ﷺ as well. Aisha radiallahu anha, she has reported this, and various other companions have reported this as well, that when the days of Ramadan would come, his generosity would be like the wind that is supposed to, very severe wind that comes about. The Prophet ﷺ was more generous than that. When it comes to the Quran, every single Ramadan, Jibreel alayhi salam used to come to the Prophet ﷺ, and he used to revise the Quran with the Prophet ﷺ. And in the last year, in the last Ramadan before the Prophet ﷺ's death, they completed it twice with each other. This is a month in which Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed the Quran from the Lawh al-Mahfuz down to the heavens. And so this is a month that should be a month of the Quran. Allah Azza wa Jalla has said in the Quran, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The month of Ramadan is a month in which the Quran was revealed. هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. What is this Quran? How did Allah Azza wa Jalla describe this Quran? He described this as a book of guidance. And so it's not a book that we just recite, thinking that the only benefit we get is rewards for each letter or for each word that we recite. It goes beyond that. It is a manual for us. It is a manual that we use to learn how to live our lives. Within it are great teachings, and within it are great lessons from previous nations, and the punishments that befell them when they made certain mistakes, so that we don't fall under the same mistakes, or we don't undertake the same mistakes as well. So this is a great month, and it's a month that is still a week away. Why are we talking about it right now? The reason for that is so we can prepare ourselves for this month. Don't expect that Ramadan is going to come upon you, and if you haven't prepared, you're going to be able to perform to the best of your ability. This is a month that you have to prepare for, spiritually as well as physically. Certain people, they might have grudges in their heart for other people. Try to get rid of these grudges so that you could turn to Allah Azza wa Jal and ask for forgiveness. And so that Allah Azza wa Jal forgives you in the same way that you have forgiven the people around you. Prepare yourself by telling yourself that this is a month where I need to perform. Start from now. Whether it's the salawat, start praying them on time if you're not praying them. Start reciting from the Quran if you're not reciting from the Quran right now. Look towards the Quran, not just as a book that is decorated in the house, but as a book that will, inshallah, guide you in your actions, and that decorates your heart. This is a book that is supposed to be the greatest miracle sent to the Prophet ﷺ. And the way that previous messengers and prophets received miracles, the Prophet ﷺ also received miracles. And the best of these miracles is the Holy Quran. It is this book which is supposed to be a source of guidance for us, not just during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, but it should continue to be a source of guidance for us till the Day of Judgment. So how do we maximize this reward? How do we maximize this month? It is by first understanding the greatness of this month. And once we understand the greatness of this month, it should cause us to act in this month. When we know that there is something special going on somewhere in our town or in our city, we try to take advantage of that. We don't waste that opportunity. As soon as we see the opportunity, we grab it, and we don't take it for granted. Do the same with Ramadan as well. Because this is a month that we're not guaranteed to see again next year. This might be the last Ramadan for some of us, in the same way that last Ramadan was perhaps the final Ramadan for many people who are no longer with us today. And so every single day that comes about, take advantage of it. This is a month that is very blessed, in which Allah Azza wa Jal opens the doors of Jannah, and He shuts the doors of the fire, and He chains the shayateen. This is not an ordinary month. If the doors of heavens are open, and in another narration, the doors of mercy, if they are open, that means it's there for us to grab. It's there for us to take the opportunity and take from the mercy that is coming down from Allah Azza wa Jal. It also means that in this month, we are expected to do acts of goodness that will warrant us getting those things from Jannah, getting the mercy from Jannah, and also establishing our place in Jannah. This is a month in which every single night, Allah Azza wa Jal frees someone from the fire. So we turn to Allah Azza wa Jal in this month every single night. We turn to Him, seeking forgiveness from Him, and also seeking His protection from the fire, hoping that He makes us of those who get protection from the fire during this month. The Prophet ﷺ has described the person in a hadith. He said, the one who witnesses Ramadan, and he doesn't allow for his sins to be forgiven during this month. And what that means is he didn't do the tasks that he was supposed to do, or he didn't stay away from the things that he was supposed to stay away from. Then this person, he didn't avail this opportunity to be forgiven for the sins. The Prophet ﷺ described such a person as a loser, as a person whose nose has been rubbed in the dust, which means that this person is truly someone who is from the losers. And so this month is a month in which Allah Azza wa Jalla wants us to fast. And so we're fasting from eating and drinking and from other desires that we have. But the word sawm in Arabic does not just limit it to restricting ourselves from food and water and the other things that we mentioned from Fajr to sunset. In fact, the word actually means holding yourself off from things, period. And so the things that are compulsory for us for our fast to be accepted by Allah Azza wa Jal are the things that we mentioned. We cannot eat in this month. We cannot drink in this month. And we cannot do things that are desirous to us from certain acts between the time of Fajr and the time of sunset. But there are also other things that we're supposed to refrain from in this month. And those are things that we should also refrain from throughout the year. But they're even more important in this month to stay away from. Things such as backbiting, things such as slandering, things such as wasting our time doing things that are pleasing to Shaitan and not pleasing to Allah. Many people, especially in the Muslim world, they think that this is a month wherein they just have to stay away from food and water, and then they can go about living their lives normally the rest of the day. And so you will see them watching different shows on TV. There are actually dramas and shows advertised for the month of Ramadan. Instead of programs that bring them closer to Allah, the programs that are advertised are programs that bring them closer to Shaitan. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. We seek protection from Allah from that. And so this month, as Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Fasting has been prescribed to you as it was prescribed to those before you. And what is the purpose? The purpose is not for us to have a stomachache. It's not for us to feel thirsty. It's for us to gain taqwa. And so how is it that we attain this taqwa? It is by staying away from things that Allah Azza wa Jalla has made impermissible for us. And it is by doing the things that Allah Azza wa Jalla commands us to do. And in this month, when we are staying away from things that are normally allowed for us outside of this month, we get to see that if we can hold off our bodies from doing things that are otherwise permissible for ourselves, then outside of this month, insha'Allah, we can hold off doing things that are sinful for us. If in this month we can do those acts of obediences that are extra, that are not really compulsory, then outside of this month we can ensure that we are doing the deeds that Allah Azza wa Jalla has made compulsory for us. And insha'Allah, that is how we gain this taqwa. It is through our actions that we gain taqwa. It is not something that will come upon us just because Ramadan comes upon us. Some of us will continue to sin, despite the fact that the shayateen are chained. And that is because we have made it a habit to sin. We no longer need shaitan to influence us. We ourselves influence ourselves to do the evil. So in this month, it's a detox. It's a month where we detox ourselves spiritually. Stay away from things that are otherwise permissible for you. And outside of this month, insha'Allah, Allah will give you the ability to stay away from things that are impermissible for you. And so, insha'Allah, this is the outlook that we should have for Ramadan. It is a month that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that the Muslim within it, the believer within it, will witness 2 times of happiness. The first time is when the person breaks their fast. And the second time, if they did what Allah Azza wa Jalla asked them to do, the second time will be when they meet Allah Azza wa Jalla. They will be happy, they will be pleased with what they had done, and therefore they will be pleased to meet Allah Azza wa Jalla. And so it is in this month that we draw closer to Allah. It is this month that we recharge our iman. It is in this month we take from the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in the same way, the last 10 nights of Ramadan were extra special for him, in which the wives of the Prophet ﷺ say he would tie his loincloth, meaning now he's serious, that's it. He's only there for the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. We do that as well. And we hope and ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow us to take the best from this month. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. This Ramadan is playing out to be something that will be very different from previous Ramadans that we've experienced. In this Ramadan, it's very possible that these masajid that we would come to draw closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla will not be open for us. Not because these centers don't want us, but because of guidelines we have to follow to keep ourselves and those around us safe. But in reality, if we reflect and ponder, this Ramadan can actually be the best Ramadan that we've witnessed. Apart from the masajid being closed, many of us are working from home. Many of us will have a lot of extra time in this month that they would normally not have the luxury of. There are many people in previous Ramadans we have witnessed, they would yearn to do more acts of goodness in this month, but because of obligations related to their work, they would be unable to do them until perhaps the last few days of Ramadan. In this month, most of us don't have to worry about the commute. In this month, most of us don't have to worry about getting tired at work. We are working from the comforts of our homes. And those of us, and we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to help them, who have lost their jobs, they have a lot more free time in this month than everyone else. And so every single thing that happens in our life, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if you are a believer, then every single thing that happens in your life is truly something unique. It is truly something good. Because when a calamity strikes, when something bad happens, or something that you perceive to be negative takes place, you are patient and Allah Azza wa Jalla rewards you. And when something good happens, you are grateful to Allah Azza wa Jalla, and that is also good for you. So regardless of how we have to face this Ramadan, we have to make the most of it. We realize that we have a lot more free time. Normally, we might have gone out shopping. We don't do that now. We don't have to worry about people spending time in the malls instead of spending time with the Quran or spending time in the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jalla. In this month, inshallah, many people, they will be turned away from a lot of things that they would normally be engaging in. Things that might be halal, but things that might not be the most fruitful things for them to do in this month. And so it is a blessing of Allah Azza wa Jalla, the silver lining in all of this, that we, inshallah, will be refraining from doing those things. But now what we have to tell ourselves is that time that we have gained from there, we have to make sure that we use it wisely. We use it in the recitation of the Quran. We use it to understand the Quran. We use it in the ibadah, in salah, in making dua to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And so, subhanallah, what we come to realize and what we have to realize is that whatever happens in this world, it only happens because of the will of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Other faiths, people in their followers, they might be having a crisis of faith. How are we supposed to celebrate Easter? How are we supposed to have Mass? How are we supposed to do all these things? How are we supposed to have confession, where you have to go to the priest and explain to him what your sins were to get forgiven? If the truth was in our religion, we would still be doing the things that we are required to do in our religion. Well, in the religion of Islam, everything is stipulated. There are guidelines for everything, including for situations like this. And so when a person is sick, or when a person is traveling, or when a person is in danger, we all know that this person is not supposed to come for Jumu'ah. So alhamdulillah, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He is the one who willed this to happen. This didn't happen against the will of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And so if we believe that to be the case, that means that Allah Azza wa Jalla willed for us to witness this month in this state. But at the same time, the believer is the one who takes this opportunity, and whatever opportunity he has, and he looks for excuses, or she looks for excuses to do good, not to stay away from the good. We don't say, well, in this month, since we can't do anything, I'm not going to fast. I'm not going to read the Quran. I'm not going to do this because I'm not going to the message anyway. That is not the true believer. The true believer believes that Allah Azza wa Jalla is in charge of everything. And the true believer believes that Allah Azza wa Jalla is testing you in whatever situation that you might be in. And this is not a unique situation. This is something that has happened in the past as well. And it could have even happened during any time. People who are imprisoned, whether it's justly or unjustly, they still engage in acts of worship. They still do all the things that are pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And therefore, we also realize that everything is in the hands of Allah. We don't turn around and say, well, now we're waiting for the vaccination to come about, and then we will be safe. Yes, that might be a means that Allah Azza wa Jalla has established for the safety of the community. But whether we are protected from this virus or we're not, that's in the hands of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So first and foremost, we seek the protection from Allah Azza wa Jalla. And at the same time, proper tawakkul, proper reliance on Allah Azza wa Jal is still taking the means, doing what is necessary to do, and at the same time having that trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. Realizing that you could go and do all the means that are necessary to stay safe, and it could still get you. Or you could be away from these means and Allah Azza wa Jal protect you. So what is compulsory upon us is ensuring that we take all the safety precautions, and the rest that we truly believe in is in Allah's hands. Everything that happens in the life of a believer, it is good for them. And so this is something that we should remember during this month as well. And there is a great lesson for us in this as well. As we are witnessing how people are reacting around us. People are social distancing, people are wearing the mask. They're not shaking hands. They're taking all these safety precautions. For what? To stay safe from something that might afflict them in this world. This shows us the importance, and it shows us how far we must also go in ensuring that we protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe from the punishment of the fire as well. If we are willing to take these precautions that are causing the economy to die, that are causing people's lives to be affected, then what about the hereafter, wherein we shall remain forever? Should we also then not look towards that life and see what puts that life in jeopardy? What puts us at risk over there? Perhaps we stay away from that as well. This is a great lesson for us. People are not reluctant. People are not hesitant. People are not apologetic when you go to them and you extend your arm to shake their hands. They say, "I'm sorry, I'm not shaking anyone's hands right now." When this pandemic is gone, we should have that same confidence. When we are faced in a similar situation, when we're not supposed to shake the hand of the opposite gender, that we have that confidence, that we have that strength to say, "I am sorry, but my Lord does not permit me to do this." This is something we say within. We don't necessarily say to the person in front of us. We tell the person in the best of ways the reason for us to stay away from that. But within ourselves, with the same confidence that we pull our arm back right now when someone extends theirs to shake our hand, we do the same outside of this month. In this month, the safety precautions we have taken in terms of cleanliness, we maintain those outside of this pandemic as well. There are many people who are coming to learn of the blessings of water in the washroom. They have not used the water properly in the washroom, but when there was a toilet paper shortage, the Muslims, they started to brag about it. We can use water. It's actually better if you use water. But when this pandemic doesn't exist, we're apologetic. We are shy, as if we are in the wrong, as if we need to be embarrassed and ashamed of what we do. We should be proud that Allah Azza wa Jal has made us Muslims, that Allah Azza wa Jal has guided us to the straight path. And we should be proud to also call people to it. When people around us see that we are proud with what we have, they also want the same. But when they see that we are shy, that we're apologetic, that we're sorry for what we have, the natural reaction is that they too will stay away from it. And so, the most important thing for us to learn from all of this is in the same way we protect ourselves and our children from this virus, protect yourself and your family from the punishment of the hereafter as well. This, insha'Allah, will be a Ramadan that will teach us, that will train us to build that relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal independently of the masajid. So that once the masjids are open, we still come to them to perform the congregational prayers and all the other prayers and all the other programs that are there. But even when we are in our homes, we still have that confidence. We can pray, we can recite the Quran, we can make dua, even in our homes. And so, insha'Allah, with that we conclude. And we'd like to remind those who might be listening to the khutbah from home that this is not a Jumu'ah Salah or a Jumu'ah khutbah for you. You're going to be, insha'Allah, praying the 4 rak'ahs of dhuhr as you normally would. And insha'Allah, if your intention was to pray in the masjid, that is enough for you to get the reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla. You don't need to pray 2 rak'ahs and think this is the only way to get the reward. In fact, you would be going against the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is probably something that will not be accepted by Allah. So those of you at home, pray 4 rak'ahs of dhuhr, but at the same time, yearn that reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Expect that reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla, that insha'Allah, He will reward you for being of those who perhaps are in the first row over here. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to protect us, to protect our families. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to protect the Muslim Ummah and everyone at large. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to guide us, not just during these trying and testing days, but even beyond that. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla that we experience the month of Ramadan and we come out better people than we were before Ramadan. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla that those of us, insha'Allah, who witness this month are able to perform the best of deeds in this month. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to allow for everything to go back to normal. And now we have realized the things that we took for granted, the message that we took for granted, these are not things to be taken for granted. Oh Allah, we recognize this and we ask you, oh Allah, we turn to you, oh Allah, if this is something that you have sent down due to our sins, we turn to you, asking for forgiveness, oh Allah. Take this away from us so that we can go back to worshiping you, so that we can go back to living our lives in a way that is pleasing to you, oh Allah. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد عباد الله إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقم الصلاة. Inshallah, we will continue with the announcements after the salah, so please just wait patiently for a few minutes. We're going to go back live to make the announcements. Assalamu alaikum.